when we talk about cultural responsiveness and building into just opening and broadening our lenses, certainly we want to make sure that teachers understand that this work, there is no final destination, right? And so we want to create cycles of reflection. What are we doing well? What are some areas that need addressing immediately? And recognizing that our way, individual way, can collectively create better solutions, right? So establishing that collectivist mindset does require constant communication, constant reflective practice, and very intentional centering the needs of those that are underserved, those populations in your school community that specifically you have not either historically met their needs or presently are still struggling to meet their needs.
So there were implicit bias trainings for staff across the board. And these weren't things where it's like, here's why you're terrible trainings. It were sessions of like, let's examine who and what we are and the challenges all of us as human beings have preconceived notions about any capacity. Do I have certain feelings about people that come from Long Island versus people that come from Staten Island or whatever it might be, right? And how would that affect different groups of students that you'd be interacting with?
When I think of reflection, I think of it as a communication loop, right? That I am processing information, I am analyzing information and internalizing it for myself, seeing how it applies to my daily work, to my students, to my educational ecosystem, right? And then I want to share and have time to share my reflection with others. And so there's a dynamic communication loop that is a continuous cycle. And so Microsoft has many ways to do this via email, but a leader can also create a digital space in their school using Flipgrid. And teachers can use this to reflect on lessons. There could be a video discussion between teams where they could add other ways to communicate, and then have this as a digital option and a digital safe space to really keep those communication loops and the reflection and feedback cycles going.
Every occupation that exists today is what we know of. And so what exists, 20 years from now when our students enter the workforce is not going to be the same. And as long as they have a foundation in problem solving, whatever occupation that they go into, I think they'll be able to solve those problems and become successful.
What is Power Apps? I would say, okay, basics, it's a way that lets you create an app. But beyond that, people say, well, what should I make an app for? Or, and it to me, I don't feel like the inspiration comes that way. It really comes almost to me the way that I found Power Apps was I was trying to solve a problem, and using Power Apps provided the solution. And so I would say start with a problem, and then don't be afraid to let Power Apps try to help you find the solution.
What's taking up most of the teachers' time? Grading. If you can create an app to do the specific visuals and assessment that you want, that would alleviate a lot of it.
With Power Apps, I was able to create a theory application where my students can go in and they can practice their identification of notes on the treble and bass. Students can come in, I can say, all right, guys, go do 4 rounds of this particular activity in my theory app, and students, they get on their computers and they go and they do it, and then I don't have to grade anything. It's great.
I really feel like Power Apps kind of hits that sweet spot of you don't have to be a coding master in order to use it, but you need to at least understand the basics of coding in order to be successful at it. And so this low code platform, it has been really intriguing to me. And this is where I think that students and teachers might really be able to benefit from it, because it's going to be powerful enough that students maybe won't lose interest, powerful enough that teachers will be able to do some higher level functions with it, but maybe not so difficult that the learning curve is so long that people burn out before they have an opportunity to create something.
I would turn it over to the students because I don't know what they know, right? So I think that one of the things is trusting and empowering students to learn on their own, right? I may have a scenario in my head, but just teaching them the idea and the language and the environment of Power Apps can sometimes open doors that I didn't dream possible.
If we look at app development as games are very complex and they look scary, and not everybody's going to be making a game. But if we look at apps as just communicating to data and working with information, yeah, everybody can do that.